Can people in the back hear this? People all the way up in the back, can you hear me talking? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me talking in the back. Yeah, it might just be
too many bodies between that and the... Because the only thing is, it might, if it's super loud right there.
Hey, firefighters on the stand, can you hear me okay?
I'm gonna hook somebody else's too.
You hit the top?
Hit that.
Whose rank can afford it? Is that speaker working?
Test. Is speaker working?
Not really. Okay, that's right on.
Hey, we need to turn it.
Yeah, we need to get it turned on.
You need to get it off now. Hey, firefighters, give me your attention just for a second. Just for a second. Firefighters, just for a second, your attention. First of all, thank you all for coming here today. It's hard to express this importance if you show, and you guys are showing that this is important. I really appreciate it. When someone's speaking, you guys can be loud if you want to. If you guys want to make a little noise, it's fine. Okay, don't feel like you don't have to. We got IFF General President Edward Kelly here, right here. Let's give him a nice welcome. Guys, we have Council Member Mark Dushin, District 10 here. Say hi to Mark. Appreciate your support. And we got your 11th District VP, Michael Gwynn, here from Fort Worth. He's our IFF District VP. When your General President makes a point that sounds good, make some noise. There you go.
Thanks for being here. That was the right thing to do. Thanks, sir.
Shit, we can start right at 11:30.
Yep. That we got. I got it. 29. Give him a minute.
Oh, this is yours. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks for thinking about it. Good showing.
All right, it's 11:30. Press, why don't you do a quick mic check, audio check. Tell me if there's any problems out there. You guys are good? You hear me okay? Okay. I'm going to try to keep these firefighters, their noise down a little bit. I don't know if we can do that, but we'll try to keep it so you can hear us. But if you firefighters want to shout a little bit, that's fine too. The very fact that we got 300 or 400 firefighters showing up should let everybody know how important this is. So let's go ahead and get started. We're here because the city manager and the Austin fire chief is trying to convince city council to reduce firefighter staffing to unsafe levels to save money. You guys hear me okay? This is a reckless action. It's unsafe to the firefighters and the citizens. It's important that reducing our staffing unsafe levels can only happen if council reverses the ordinance they passed in 2018. That's the only way it can happen. So the firefighters need the community support to express to council how important it is that they keep the 2018 staffing ordinance in place. Today, all firefighter apparatus has what's known as 4-person staffing. Four-person staffing on all responding fire apparatus is a national safety standard. This standard is empirically derived from research from Austin in 1993, from NIST, from FEMA. And as such, the National Fire Protection Association and NFPA requires four-person staffing on all apparatus. I want to be clear, this is for medical runs, this is for fire runs, this is for firefighter safety, this is for the safety of the community. And Austin has led the charge for years on this. The Austin firefighters have been working towards four-person staffing since 1993. And four-person staffing was finally realized in Austin fully in 2013. Then in 2018, after a 2-year effort to educate council on the absolute need of four-person staffing for firefighter and citizen safety, the Austin City Council constructed and passed one of the first four-person staffing ordinances in the nation. I would recommend the public and press go to the council agenda page for December 13th, 2018, and review the video testimony. In that video testimony, you will see every council member, even the one that voted against it, expressing that it's absolutely important that firefighter staffing is the last thing we cut in a tough budget, not the first. On January 1st, 2026, the city manager hopes to slash firefighter staffing to unsafe levels on 48 of our 50 fire engines, reducing firefighter staffing by 25%. This is outrageous. What is so outrageous is Chief Baker is on public record emphatically stating they should never reduce four-person staffing. In fact, he states, if this unsafe action kills a firefighter, you wish you had 10 people on that unit. But now Chief Baker is fine with trying to convince council that reducing staffing unsafe levels is okay. So this is on the city manager and fire chief. The current council, 10 council members, while they're running for election, provided Austin Firefighter Association with statements that they will continue to support the 2018 four-person staffing ordinance. Our safety and the safety of the citizens is just that important. Now the firefighters expect these council members to keep their word and let the four-person staffing ordinance in 2018 survive. Now, in fairness to council, they look at it like the budget just came out last week, and they have to look at things and make a decision, and, you know, I respect that. But the city council, the city manager and the fire chief is already going around telling them this is okay. So this is the firefighters telling you it's not okay. The firefighters have always been there for the Austin community. Many times we answer your call for help on the worst day of your life, and we give you what you need most. Trained firefighters for showing up in force and solving your problems. Now the firefighters need the community to have our backs. Call and email city council and the city manager and demand that they support firefighter and citizen safety by maintaining the 2018 four-person staffing ordinance. If you go to our webpage, www.austinsafetyfirst.org, there's a tool that the public can use to click on one button and email all council members, the mayor, and the city manager. So go to that tool, www.austinsafetyfirst.org, click on it. It's an easy way for you to express your desire to support your firefighters that have supported you for so long. Now I want to introduce Edward Kelly. He's the general president, flew in from DC, the general president of the International Association of Firefighters.
Thank you very much. Thank you, President Nix. Thank you for sounding the alarm in the city of Austin. Just as the Austin firefighters have been sounding the alarm on staffing for 3 decades, longer than some firefighters in this city have been alive, on how important it is that when we show up, we can have $1 million fire truck, a $2 million fire truck. The most important thing we bring to a fire isn't water, it's not ladders, it's the people that can put that water on the fire, raise those ladders, and rescue people. Back in 2007, this city council, then sitting council, passed a resolution requiring minimum staffing on the AFD. And I want to read you a quote from that resolution. It says, quote, "Many studies, including ones carried out here in Austin, has shown that increasing firefighter staffing levels have a positive impact on safety and efficiency during fire department operations," end quote. Let me tell you, that's not just an opinion of a city council. The National Institute on Standards and Technology, NIST, studied these evolutions scientifically. And they were able to show that when you reduce a company, a fire company, an engine, a ladder, a rescue, from 4 to 3 people, not surprisingly, you lose 25% efficiency in whatever that evolution is. Whether it's catching a hydrant, running a hose line in to get water on that fire. As you know, as you can imagine, that's a critical step in life safety. Or whether it's forcible entry into the building, throwing ground ladders, conducting a search, effecting a rescue, 25% less efficiency. Now that's a fancy way of saying living or dying efficiency. Time matters when your house is on fire. Time matters when you have an elderly housing or an assisted living fire. You know, 40 years ago they did studies, and they showed that you had about 17 minutes from the time a fire starts in a home to safely escape that fire. Today, with all the synthetic materials we've added into the households, all the oil-based materials we've added, that time has been reduced from 17 minutes down to just 3 minutes. How fast we get there matters. The efficiency of our crew operation when we get there matters. It is a matter of life and death. The fact is, fires just burn harder and faster than they once did. We now have new technologies that introduce greater risk and hazard to us, like lithium-ion batteries, like I said, all the synthetics in the home. In the last 10 years, since 2014, 11 years, the deaths in fires in the United States has risen by 16%. It's actually more dangerous. It's more important that we have adequate crew size now more than ever. And let me tell you, that is what the national standard calls for. What this chief and this mayor, this town manager are proposing is to reduce the Austin Fire Department below national standards. That puts the citizens at risk, and we took an oath to protect them citizens, to die for them if we need to. Let me tell you about those citizens, the citizens of Austin. They are no different than the citizens of Fall River, Massachusetts. 7 days ago, last Monday, we woke up in Massachusetts to the realization that 9 elderly, infirmed people were killed in a horrific fire in an assisted living facility in Fall River, Massachusetts. What became painfully obvious was that had the Fall River Fire Department been staffed up to those national standards of 4 firefighters per engine company, per ladder company, per rescue company, lives would have been saved. Instead, that death toll has now risen to 10. We don't want to have the conversation in the city of Austin after we've lost 10 residents of Austin. We want to have the conversation now. This is a conversation about priorities. Do firefighters' lives matter? Absolutely. We're willing to risk and die for the people of Austin, but we don't want to die needlessly. And we sure as hell are going to fight to make sure the people who make the decisions here in the city of Austin recognize the threat, not only to firefighters, but to the citizens of this city that we took an oath to protect, and we're not going anywhere. We're going to fight this fight to the end. So stay strong, Austin firefighters.
Thank you, President Kelly. Thank you, President Kelly. We appreciate it. Now we have a special treat. Sarah Kuhn, Austin firefighter, speaking on behalf of the association, is going to tell you the story during the snowstorm where for a very short period of time they had to drop to 3-person staffing. We're not talking about cutting 48 fire engines 3-person for months and months and months. We're talking about for a very short period of time our engine was done 3-person staffing, and during that very short sliver of time they made a multi-fatality fire, and they had to make choices between firefighter safety and the safety that people are pulling out, the medical treatment, because of lack of staffing. Sarah, would you please come up? Sarah,
Good morning, I'm Sarah Kuhn. I have been in with the Austin Fire Department since 2012. I'm not a speaker, I'm not a politician, I drive a fire truck. This is way out of my wheelhouse, but it's so important to me that I felt like I needed to come up here and talk. I'm hoping to bring a human element to something that some may seem as politics. I've never fought fire in my near 13 years with 3 people. In fact, I've never run any call type, less than 3 people, I'm sorry. I've never run any call type with 3 people, but during that snowstorm, we had 2 minor emergencies. We decided the best thing for the citizens was to split our crew, and on the way back from one of those, we got an electrical fire that was then upgraded to a box alarm, which is a house fire. I was driving. My rookie, Miles, who was a couple months in, was on the back alone as a firefighter. As we pulled up to that house, what I remember was the entire right side of the house being all orange, completely flames through all the windows, nasty black smoke rolling out of the eaves. And when we rolled up, there were people from the house outside telling us there were 5 people still inside. And we talk about 2 in, 2 out, that we're not going to go, it's a state law, it's our policy, we are not going to go inside a home with less than 3 people, but there are exceptions to that. There are exceptions if there's an imminent rescue, if we know for sure there are people inside that we can help, we're gonna go in. And this situation checked all those boxes. We made the decision, we have a saying, risk a lot, save a lot. As firefighters, we're going to risk our lives to potentially save other lives. We were gonna go in and help. Miles couldn't be here today. He was the rookie on the nozzle firefighter, but he gave me an excerpt from his after-action review he made days after the fire and asked me to read it to y'all. I opened the hose line to cool the area above us while pushing farther into the home. I called out for anyone who could hear me and heard a faint call out from the darkness farther inside the house. I moved in that direction while flowing water. Once I got to where I heard the voice, I was able to search the general area, keeping my bearings, using the hose line as a point of reference. It was there I found the first victim and was able to pull her onto the hose as I drug her out, using the hose between my knees as a guide. While dragging her, I got caught up in the clutter and furniture that had fallen in my path of egress. I called out, my officer moved up from the front door, cleared the clutter, and assisted me to move the first victim. I made my way back inside to where I found the second person, using the hose as my only point of reference. The heat had considerably increased inside, so before moving the second person, I opened the hose line to cool the area. I then started working on moving the second victim and was having difficulty due to the clutter and her being stuck on something. I had to use the hose once again to cool the area and continue to try to move the second victim while flowing water. I realized I was not going to be able to do this job on my own, between keeping the fire at bay and also moving the victim who appeared to be stuck. I made my way out of the home and found 2 firefighters from Quint 27 at the front door, masked up, ready to help. I let them know where the victim was located, and we made our way inside. At this point, I was able to get back on the hose line and flow water to keep the heat back, while the other 2 firefighters were able to get the victim out of the building. There were plenty of lessons to gain from this fire, but the main one that stuck with me as a new firefighter was the importance of the 4th team member. Please remember, Miles wrote this 4 years ago. He didn't write this now. Was the importance of that 4th team member. With a 4th firefighter there, I could have continued to flow water, find the fire and extinguish it, while the other firefighter and officer could have moved the first and second victims out of the house faster, more efficiently, and under lower heat conditions. With a 4-person engine crew, water never would have stopped flowing, and the fire could have been brought under control, making the entire home more survivable for those victims trapped inside. As my experience driving the engine, I'm in charge of sending the water, I'm in charge of getting catching a hydrant, getting a hydrant, and bringing water into my engine. I had 500 gallons, so as much as Miles was flowing water, I had less than 3 minutes to make these decisions. I was outside alone. As Miles is bringing victims out that are still alive and laying them in the snow, I had to decide to step over these victims that were alive, that needed medical attention immediately, to get water for my engine, for my guys to keep fighting fire. Otherwise, I would have to tell them to back out of the house, because we were going to run out of water, and leave those other potentially 4 or 5 victims inside for their certain death. It is a terrible decision for someone to have to make alone. If I had my 4th firefighter, he could either help pull victims out or help give medical care. Instead, I had to make the decision of who we were going to treat and who we were going to let live that day. That is a terrible decision for someone to have to live with, but what's even worse is for that victim that was alive, that had just survived a fire, to be laying on the ground outside needing medical care and watching me either step over them and go get water, or decide that I was going to let the other 4 or 5 people inside that house die by pulling my crew out. Chief Baker said last week that we will meet NFPA 1710 minimum requirements of 16 or 17 firefighters on scene by reducing staffing. Eventually we will. Eventually we will have enough firefighters show up for a single family home, not apartment fires, not commercial fires, not anything else. For a small single family home, I didn't need help eventually. I needed help right then. Those victims needed help right then. I work on the east side. There are busy stations over there. My closest station to help me is 10 minutes away right now. And usually they're out. They're out running other calls. So we're looking at 15, potentially 20 minutes if this city is busy until we get help. That is not soon enough for eventually to have 16 or 17 firefighters minimum to come help us save lives.
Yeah.
And understand, today we are talking to you about fires. It's something to easily visualize, but understand this is for all calls. We run over 60 different call types as the Austin Fire Department, and with more than 30 medical calls, over 90 different call types. We have a 4-inch policy manual, and every single one of those operations policies in there are based on 4-person staffing. I don't know how to run a fire or any call type of less than 3 people. Or less than 4 people with 3. I've never done it. More than 800 of our 1,100 members have never done that in the Austin Fire Department. Due to budget cuts, we have already pulled people out of all of our admin positions and put them back on fire trucks. We don't have people. We have skeleton crews in prevention and inspections and training. Our committees aren't meeting. For us to run 3-person staffing would take an entire rewrite of the Austin Fire Department, and we do not have the people to do that. So I'm going to be practicing on your homes and your lives, and that is not something I want to do. As President Kelly and Chief Nick said, there are a plethora of studies to back this up. They spoke of several I was going to speak about, but another one is 32% of live rescues are made when we get on scene and there are no reports of people inside. So due to that 2 in, 2 out state law, we're not even going to go in and look for 1/3 of the people that we could have saved until more people get on scene. That's 1/3 of the people that could live. This is studied, this is facts. 1/3 of the people that could live are going to die if we cut down to this 3-person staffing. The fact is, these policies, these ordinances, these regulations were written reactively after people died. I've been struggling with the words for the gravity of this situation, and I don't have them. It is unfathomable to me that we are going back to something we started studying in 1991, almost 35 years ago. These policies, these regulations were written in blood. Some firefighter, but mostly civilian. This is not a political issue. This is not a union issue. This is a public safety issue. It's about citizens picking up the phone on the worst day of their lives and knowing that the response they're going to receive is going to meet their needs. Thank you.
Sarah Kuhn. Sarah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. So just a quick tally. And guys, it's okay to get loud over this, you want to. So we need 6 votes from council to keep our safe staffing levels. Because the city manager and the fire chiefs already told them what they're going to do. They're going to cut it. With us today, we have 3 council members standing with us. Vanessa Fuentes, District 2. Paige Ellis, District 8. Mark Dushan, District 10. We appreciate you. Our lives are in your hands. Thank you so much for being here and standing with us today. I have another special speaker for you because sometimes the public doesn't think about this, but the deal an Austin firefighter makes when he goes through training is that he's going to be safe. We're going to provide him safe staffing levels, safe equipment, best training, best tactics. And so this is kind of a bait and switch when they start lowering that standard. Who's it affect besides the firefighter? It affects their families. It affects their children. Already their children and wives are concerned every time they leave. And now the city manager, fire chief saying that we're willing to balance the budget on these firefighters, on their safety. We're going to take it away. So I want to introduce Melissa Davis. She is a spouse of a firefighter. She's the mother of a firefighter, just started last week, and her brother-in-law is also an Austin firefighter. Melissa?
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Melissa Davis, and I'm a little nervous because I'm used to talking to first graders. So standing here today is not something I would usually do. But some important decisions are being made that are greatly affecting my family. So I felt it was important to speak up. In 2012, my husband joined the fire department as a part of the cadet class that brought 4-person staffing to the Austin Fire Department. Like most spouses, seeing my husband leave a safe and stable job to become a firefighter, well, it was a little hard. But I understood his heart and his passion to want to serve in this way, so I've always supported him. He joined his twin brother, who also serves in AFD. He told me how important it was for our city to move to the 4-person staffing, not only for the citizens' safety in Austin, but also for the safety of the firefighters themselves. It is very dangerous and a risky job, but they do it every day. They put the safety of the citizens before the safety of themselves. There are a lot of things that are affected without that 4th firefighter. Not only does it affect the medical calls, the vehicle rescues, but most importantly, if there is a fire and someone is trapped inside, and my husband and another firefighter go inside the fire to effect a rescue, There will not be a team of 2 firefighters on the outside to go and rescue those 2 firefighters if something should go wrong. As a wife, this brings me more worry than I can express in words. And I understand it is a dangerous job, but for the city council to take money from the first responders so that it can spend that money on other non-essential projects, it is very frustrating to say the least. And I'm also at a point now where I'm not just concerned as a wife, but also as a mom. As my son is set to follow in his father and his uncle's footsteps, and he's graduating in the Austin Fire Academy this week. My plea to council and to the citizens of Austin is to ask yourself, is this how you want your money to be spent? Not only will the lives of the people I love be put more in danger, but the citizens of Austin will also be put more in harm's way as well. And I'm not only sharing these concerns as a mom and as a wife, but also to represent the hundreds of families of loved ones of the firefighters in the Austin Fire Department. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Great job. Great job. You know, fires can be very tragic. In the wake of tragedy, too often we hear people say, check the batteries in your smoke detector. What a shame. Too bad they didn't live through that fire. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if we lose civilians in the city of Austin because they reduce staffing, the decision makers in this city reduce staffing, we're not going to let you blame the victims. We're going to be loud and proud telling you that we were here beforehand, before the fire, to tell you that this would happen. And let me also be the first to tell you that if we lose an Austin firefighter in the line of duty because decision makers in this city decided to reduce staffing, again, let me be the first to tell you, stick your thoughts and prayers up your ass.
Well put, President. We really appreciate the press being here today. We'll be standing for questions afterwards. Before we leave, I want to thank the most important people here, the firefighters. Firefighters, give yourself a big hand. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing this is important. That concludes our rally press conference, and we will be available for questions. Thank you for coming.